Okay, so welcome. So glad you guys are here. Sorry it had to be a later meeting, but we're recording now, so hopefully others and the rest of your teams will listen. So I just kind of want to jump right in. I think of you guys throughout the month, and as I hear feedback from ambassadors and just different things going on in messages and different questions and things, it gets me thinking about things we should talk about. So I kind of have various different things. We're going to kind of jump around a little bit, which I feel like we do that quite a bit, but and then we'll open it up to questions. Or if you have a question right then and there that, before you forget, obviously this is very casual, so you can just unmute yourself and ask. But I want to speak to, and maybe you can make sure I didn't cover this in the past meetings, but I've heard a lot from, and maybe not, from you guys in particular, but from other people in the group, how they are, they're struggling with the fact that nobody is commenting on their posts anymore. And so I just want to speak to that quickly. Did we cover that before? Can someone remind me? Because I don't want to repeat myself. I feel like we might have.
I don't think so.
No? Okay. So one of the things that, and keep this in mind for your teams too, because I've forgotten, I'm so used to just posting, and obviously I'm in a very different place now, but you have to remember what it was like when you started. And, we didn't have our little love groups and stuff to be able to have people to comment. But when you start, I think people expect that they're going to have like all these comments and all these people just like banging down their door wanting Plexus. And in reality, that's not how this works. In fact, I'm, trying to coach my new ambassadors to say, don't be surprised if you're not going to hear anything. It's going to take consistent posting. And I think we all here at least know that, but this is also for the rest in the group that watch this is, this gig, this Plexus business, which is your business, you don't just, like fishing, you don't just throw the pole in a couple times. You have to be patient and keep fishing. And so that's the same thing with using social media for your business, is you keep sharing and you find different angles and different posts, and you want to share a variety, obviously, because there's going to be that certain post that is going to resonate with somebody, and then they're finally going to join you. And so it's just, I want you to know, if you are new, that it is normal if you are not receiving any comments. People are watching, and mind you, with the Facebook algorithms, maybe people aren't watching because they don't even see your post. Hence the reason why we encourage people to post frequently. Now, not only about Plexus, of course, but about your life. And that's a whole nother meeting. Maya and Amy Matazzaro is going to go over that tomorrow morning, if you're able to tune in, about social media and all that, training on all that. But, posting is just a third of your success, and for your business. And so if you think of this as like you're baking a cake, like a recipe for success, you wouldn't just put in flour for a cake and call it done. You need other components to that recipe to make a beautiful cake. And in the same sense, for your business, you need posting, you need to build relationships with people, and you need follow-up. And those three things are really the core of how you find success. And then you can fine-tune those things individually. You can fine-tune your posting and who you present yourself to be on social media. And you can fine-tune your, what was the second one now? My brain is fried. Follow up. You can fine tune your follow up, and that comes with more and more practice. In this business, the more conversations you have with people, the more trainings you watch on verbiage and using the verbiage page and getting all of this kind of down, then the better you're going to become. But all of this just doesn't take place overnight or in a couple weeks or even in a couple months. I remember back when Rachel and we both, I feel like, kind of came to right around the same time. I don't know. It's just something about this verbiage thing. Do you feel like that way too, Rachel? We're like, I don't know, we reached a point where we kind of started to understand that saying too much is not the way to go. And anyway, do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Less is generally more, because I always say, people just want to know, does it work? Can I trust you? And they just want the basics.
Yeah.
But I wanted to touch on one thing that you said in the very beginning with posts and people not responding, maybe not commenting on your stuff as much. Don't let that bother you. I know that sounds kind of crazy because we have the One Plexus Pink Diamonds group. We want to flood people with comments, and you may look at it and be like, oh my gosh, it is all Plexus ambassadors that are commenting on my stuff. Like, no one else, new people and potentials aren't commenting. And I can tell you, in the beginning, you can go way back to when I first started. I had a couple posts. Maybe 3 people would say little things. That was it. We didn't have this group where Plexus people were commenting and, saying all these wonderful things. We just didn't have that.
Well, many posts were like crickets for us for, a long time.
Yeah. And I remember one of my girls on my team, she joined with me and then she quit. And she specifically said, you didn't have hardly any posts or comments on your posts. You had hardly any likes on your Plexus posts, but I saw Autumn posting that you were ranking. And so it wasn't necessarily that people weren't seeing my posts or necessarily commenting on my posts. It was just the mere fact that a lot of those people I was private messaging, I was talking to, or they were messaging me, and the conversation didn't start from that post, with them commenting. So just because someone doesn't comment doesn't mean, or if it's just all Plexus people, and I'm going to add this in just real quick. The reason why we want to post every single day too, not just because for our potentials, but we want to keep it in the forefront of our current ambassadors and our current customers that are purchasing the product. Because when we stop posting about the product, number one, we are not setting an example for our team if we're just posting every once in a while. Because they're going to look at your consistency and replicate it generally. And not only that, but when you post about the product, because we do Plexus every day. We eat, sleep, breathe Plexus. Let's be real. We really do. And other people do life. By you posting and just keeping it in the mind of your current ambassadors and your current customers, they go, oh yeah, I need to take my products. Oh yeah, this is why I'm taking it. And it's a constant reminder for not just potentials to come on board, but the people that are currently taking the product.
Yes. And so that third thing that I couldn't think of was relationships. And so obviously, like I said, you can fine-tune posting, you can fine-tune follow-up, you can fine-tune relationships and what that looks like more. Those are like each 3 separate little trainings, but go YouTube those things and work on those things, because that's really the core of this business. And the sooner you can perfect those areas, then the faster you're going to go. The next thing I want to talk about is understanding that this business is really about timing for some people. You know, there's going to be people that watch. And so you have to think of this business in the sense of it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And, you know, the longer you're here, and we have some ambassadors on this team that had a very slow first year, but they kept going, and they got, you know, discouraged at times, but they picked themselves up, they kept going. And in that second year, their team blew up. And, you know, now they're off ranking. And so you get in what you put out. But do realize that for some people, if there's, you know, that person that like, gosh darn it, they would be so good at the business, or they, you know, thrive on these products. Sometimes people are finicky, and it is a timing issue, or they don't understand. I'm going to use my husband for an example. So I've been into natural stuff like forever. I mean, for at least the last 10 years, since I was 25. And I've been using, you know, natural deodorant and all this stuff. He tells me the other day that he wants me to go pick him up some natural deodorant. And I'm like, what? Where were you 10 years ago, or whatever it was when I got into natural deodorant, that you're just now coming around to wanting natural deodorant? And it's so funny how, you know, I presented it to him. Surely I gave him the facts, and we had a conversation, and he just didn't buy it. And now he shared with me that he saw some article or something that he read that resonated with him, and now he wants natural deodorant. So that's what you have to understand about people sometimes. You have to be patient, and you have to be persistent. Now, I obviously wasn't persistent in getting him to get natural deodorant, but I could have got him to convert long ago. But that's the idea, is that sometimes it takes somebody reading something or having some experience. I've had lots of people that had to hear it from a third party before they would come try Plexus with me. So it's just, you have to be patient and realize all the little different factors that go into this business. Okay, covering all your bases. Hopefully you're all following up. We've had some really great growth. I know some of you and your teams are growing. And this business can be tricky when you have, let's say you're a serious ambassador. Obviously all of you are serious enough to be here and on this Zoom. So let's say you sign a level 1 that maybe isn't all that serious, but they're playing around with the business and they think it's cool and they're going to get their products paid for. And they're signing some people, but they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing with those people. You have to figure out, as a leader of your team, what you're going to do about that. So I really want you guys to start thinking now, as, you know, silver ambassadors growing to gold, what you are doing with the people that are being signed on your team, but they have, you know, the person they signed under is not necessarily maybe following up, or maybe they are, but not effectively. The person has no idea about the other products in the company. They have no idea about the option of getting their products paid for or the potential income. And that's what obviously our team page is for. You know, we try and have a constant place of information of all different types. So when you do add an ambassador to your team, that they do get exposure to that. But with an ambassador that's maybe not taking this as serious as you, then you need to figure out what you're going to do about those people that are being signed. Because all of those people that are being signed are potentially the next open door to the next rank for you. One of those people could want this business. No one has talked to them about it, and they could take off and you could fly to, you know, senior gold or ruby. So you have to start thinking more as a leader. How am I going to meet my team, be involved with my team, and help my team in understanding everything that they need to know? So whatever that may be, we have put together the new ambassador consult, which is on the Plexus Wellness page, and it's a document of, you know, all the things that you can go over with your new ambassador. Or, I mean, guys, there's been many times where somebody, you know, signed somebody on my team, like my level 2 or 3, and that person, there's no way there's no way that person maybe even knows what to say because they're so brand new. So what are you going to do about all these new people? You need to step up and you need to befriend them. And then if their upline isn't going to do it, then you consider saying, hey, when do you have some time to go over your account? That's kind of, you know, our phrase that we use to show you how to, you know, get familiar with your account. And then we basically just roll right into a new ambassador consult when we get them on a Zoom. And Zoom is free to use if it's one-on-one. And so you're going to show them the products. I know I've talked about this before. I preach it all the time. People only think like the triplex exists, and it is so unfortunate that they could be using so many other products, or they could be thinking about other people in their family that could benefit. So, and then who is presenting them with the option to get their products paid for? And who is presenting them with the option to make a couple extra hundred, a couple extra thousand from home, or go on to retire their husband? Like nobody. So you're missing out on growth for your team if you're not stepping up and getting to know your team. And that's one thing that Rachel and I have done. And I feel like even more so beyond even other jewels. I've talked to many other people, and I'd say that's the difference with us, is that we know our team as best as we possibly can. Obviously, as you get bigger, it gets a little bit harder, but I still try and get on the phone with people and, you know, get to know them. And Rachel is a big communicator through the computer and messaging and text message and stuff. So she's like in constant communication with her whole team. So I just want to challenge you to, you know, be thinking about that, because it really is the way that you grow. In the beginning, you guys, when I couldn't sign, like I went after my family and friends hard, and I couldn't sign anybody initially. Well, I mean, I went silver, but beyond that, like I wasn't going as fast as I wanted. So my friend here locally, one or two friends, were signing people. I'm like, well, hey, they're signing people. Let me go pour into them and let's get them going, you know, because I can't seem to sign anybody over here. So let's go pour into the team. So that's exactly what I did. And I got them sharing and doing this business because the person they signed under wasn't strong enough, wasn't bold enough to, you know, be like, tell them what to do, get them started, and share with them all of that. So if you really want to, you know, move faster and really have a solid team that knows you, then, you know, consider doing all that. Do you have anything to add to that, Rachel, before I move on?
No.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You said you went hard after your family and friends. Did you have any of them tell you that you're brainwashed by Plexus? I've had some of my really close family members that I've been talking to about it. Just tell me I have just gone nuts with this stuff, that I'm brainwashed with it, and that they just don't want to hear about it. Like they said it's starting to cause a rift with them. So how do you deal with something like that?
So I didn't have anyone specifically with that in the beginning, but I have had some people that literally hate with everything in their body. They hate Plexus. And guess what? That's their problem. That's not a reflection of me, because that's, first of all, apparently their lack of knowledge of who I am. So I'm a little disheartened and bothered that they think the way that they do about me. Obviously they, you know, so that's their thing. But if you read like Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, you know, there's the whole mindset of people are jealous, and people, when they see that someone else is doing well, either in health or thriving financially or whatever it is, they're jealous, and they can become, in a sense, kind of your worst enemy, your biggest hater. So when you're passionate and excited about something that's helped you tremendously and they're negative about it, that's a reflection on them, not a reflection on you. And we all have those people. And if you have not encountered those people yet, you will. And so that's where you just pick up and move on, because you can't let other people's opinions decide what you're going to do. You're obviously, we all are capable of being passionate about something, being pure-hearted in being passionate about something. People possibly think that we have dollar signs in our eyes because of this business. But I think there comes a time, even with some people like that, Gail, where you stand up to them and you say, you know what? You know me as a person. And I'm a little bothered by the fact that you think I'm brainwashed. Like, I think you know me better than that, you know? And so I don't have a problem with saying that to people, because they need to snap out of it. Like, I'm not here for what they think I'm here for, you know, or they think I'm brainwashed or whatever it is, you know? So, I mean, we have products that are legitimately changing lives. So I hope that helps kind of answer your question. It's normal. It's unfortunate. It's the enemy's way of, you know, coming in to attack, I feel. But don't let other people bring their negativity into your life, into your business. And that Darlene Cornelius, she's almost, I think 80 years old. She's the oldest ambassador in the company. When she did the little live video on our team page, that was one of the things she preached. She said, do separate yourself from negative people. Do not let their negativity come in and rob you of your joy.
Exactly.
And
that's exactly my family members. They say I'm trying to make a buck off of them.
Yeah. And so you tell them, you know what? I am offended by that, because these products have truly helped me. And my heart is that they will help you too. But because you have chosen to think this of me, I mean, I'm just be blunt sometimes, you know? I mean, you just stand up and say the truth, because call it out, because that's not true. That's not okay.
Thank you. That was helpful. It's encouraging to hear that.
Yeah. And, you know, not to say that they won't come around either. Some of our biggest haters can potentially come around. Most of them probably not. So we just bless and release, and, you know, pray for them, and you know, when it's appropriate in the future, you may, you know, bring it up again. But, you know, just know that that's normal, and that you're not going to get through this business without having that happen. You can have people that love you and thank you for sharing this business and these products. They will like kiss the ground that you walk on because you shared. You're going to have other people that, you know, like practically hate you. You know, there's a girl, I'll just share this last thing. There's a girl from our high school that I went to high school with. And for those of you that don't know, Amber Hargett and I, we graduated together in the same high school. So did Rachel. Well, Rachel didn't graduate at the same high school. She left, but we were all at the same high school. And then Erin Bush was our English teacher, which is so funny. There is a girl that was in Amber and I's class that has now watched myself and Amber and Erin, and I don't know if she knows Rachel, go to the top of this company, and she hates Plexus. But you know what? I know her enough to know she's jealous. She tried another company before. She thought she was going to go places and she didn't. And so she is not humble enough to swallow her pride and come join us. And so that's her problem, unfortunately. This could be totally life-changing for the products, and she could have her dreams come true with the business like she was going to. But, you know, it's their problem. So anyway, okay. When you're signing people, so I talked about that, and, you know, making sure you're following up. Before, I'm just going to do the flip side here. If somebody's leaving, you guys, they say, yeah, I'm done with Plexus, you know, I hope that they're not leaving without knowing about all of our products, because if they only know about the triplex, then you could have maybe still had an ambassador. So I hope they know all about the products if they're leaving, and they know what this business could potentially be for them. Now, in the beginning, when I'd have someone go white line, like for me, when I was still trying to figure out this business, and, you know, and I still have people go white, you know, I'm thorough. Hey, I'm thorough, but people still leave. Once again, it's not me. I've done all I can do. So I'm making sure that you all do all that you can do. And that doesn't guarantee, but you're going to do all you can do. But anyway, in the beginning, you know, there were some people that before I was doing new ambassador consults, I didn't get a chance to talk about the business yet or the financial side. So I was like, they were leaving, and I was voice messaging them saying, all right, girl, you know, no problem. I do want to let you know about this amazing business opportunity and how this could, you know, be an amazing financial benefit to your family. It's something you can do from home. Now, you might look at me and think, you're crazy, Autumn. They just left and they didn't want to do the products. Why would they want to do the business? Ho, ho, ho. I have someone that literally did the products for 3 months, stopped and said, yeah, no, not working. Sorry. Didn't feel a difference, you know, whatever, moving on. I gave her a long break of probably about 9 months or something, came back around, and I told her about this business, and I told her what I was making, and I'll be darned, she wanted to come back for the business. I had never told her about this business. I had only focused on the products. And now she's back working the business and has an amazing growing team. So you don't ever prejudge someone. You cover all your bases. So hopefully you're going to cover all your bases up front. So there's no doing like what I did in the beginning, is like voice messaging people as they're on their way out the door about the business. You're going to do that in the beginning. You give them 3 options in the new ambassador consult. You know, you tell them you have a wholesale account. You can continue to get your products at wholesale. You can easily get your products paid for with like 3 or 4 customers, super easy to do. Or you can go on to, you know, make an amazing income from home, quit your job, whatever. Which of these sounds good to you? And most of the time people will say, well, I'd love to get my products paid for. So then guess what? Now there's your opportunity. You seize that moment. You get them sharing. And the minute they open up their network to you, then you can start to see your growth. Because you guys, your path to Emerald is within all your ambassadors' networks. So if you can get them to open up their networks, even if they don't want this, somewhere within their network, they have people that need these products, that want this business. And so that's your goal. And there's, you know, if you guys want to know, like, there's a way to go back to your white lines and see if they'd be willing to do a health event online, and see if they'll invite 20 to 30 people, and you offer up maybe a prize at the end. And they invite these people that you give them the message for of how to invite. And if you can get access to their network, then you have potential to grow. Okay. And then lastly, I want to talk about your role as a leader. and just this whole thing, because Rachel, do you have anything to add before I continue on?
No, I was just going to tell Gail to her one question. So my mom was completely against Plexus. I still have the email where she was like, I will never take, and Plexus was all in caps. Like, she was adamant. And I still have, well, and now she's like my biggest customer. But my aunt still doesn't take it. My brother, he doesn't take it. And his attitude towards it has switched. It's not, the snake oil that I'm selling. It's more of like, I can't afford it. So people do switch and go through changes. And like Autumn said, you kind of just have to love them where they're at. But I also notice with some of the people that I know desperately need these products, and I know this sounds really bad, but there are just some people that would rather just be miserable than be well and happy and healthy. And I can tell you, I was pretty stuck up to the whole mindset of health and wellness. And I'm just like, okay, here's Autumn, like the health guru, and I thought, here I am, like, I'm healthy. And she was just like, we were on complete opposite sides of the spectrum. But I think when people say, that we're brainwashed, or, we're out for a dollar or a dime, whatever the case may be, it's more or less like, for me personally, I say to them, like, for me, honestly, my eyes have been opened to a whole new spectrum of health. And I am now seeing what I should have been seeing a long time ago. And I'm so thankful that someone invested that time into me to open my eyes and to not let me just walk around thinking I was healthy this whole time. So when people say, oh, well, you're just trying to sell something. And it's like, well, I mean, yes, I technically am selling something, but it's because my eyes have been open to the passion and the necessity of these products and what it can do for us. So, again, there are just some people that are going to be miserable.
Yeah.
And want to stay that way. My aunt is a perfect example. She is in horrible health. And I'm like, you've got to look into these products. You've got to look into them. And my dad, it's his sister. He's saying, these products have changed my life. My mom is preaching it. And she's like, no, I'm just not feeling it. She goes to her chiropractor. He tells her, you really need to get on supplements, probiotic. He didn't mention Plexus, but we're like, hello. And still she will not. And it comes to a point where some people don't want help, and they kind of do the reversal. Like, they make it you instead of really it's about them and them not wanting to make that change. So they take the concentration off of them and they say, you're the one that's brainwashed. You're the one with the problem. When really, in fact, they're the one that's being closed-minded and not looking into it. Has nothing to do with Plexus. Look at magazines. Look at, what's on the cover of magazines and what they're talking about now on TV. This is nothing that's like out of the ordinary. We're talking about stuff that everybody deals with on a daily basis. So that's just all I was going to add to her comment.
Yes, love that. So I'm going to start a new subject here, because this business is so different in you're your own boss. You have your own business. You guys, like, let it sink in. This is your business. This is not your upline's business. Technically, this is your business. You are the entrepreneur, and it is up to you to set, to run, to work, to have that work ethic, to learn what you need to know to lead your team. It is up to you, because this is your business. And I realized that, we have the upline, which are like our little coaches, our dependents, our, who we depend upon, and all that. But I do have to say, and it's an interesting setup too, because you can have people like, let's say you're my level 4, and my level 3 is not really doing this business. The level 2 is playing around with it, and the level 1 is like a wholesaler, So it's like we've got like this line of people, and I've got a level 4 down here that wants to do this business, and then someone else kind of playing around. What I'm saying is that there's all different scenarios in this business. There's all different commitment levels of people. I'm all in. I've been all in since the beginning. But your upline, the person that sponsored you, might not be all in like you are. And maybe not the person above that, but maybe the person above that. So what I'm saying is you have to rely upon yourself more than anybody else, because there are people that, like Amber Hargett, her sponsor was like kind of absent. So Amber had to learn on her own. And thankfully she kind of started with Aaron. And so they kind of worked together and found their way through this business. But what I'm saying is, don't wait around for your upline to fully train you. Rachel and I now have lived through the ranks of this business to know we need to put things in place, because we've got people all over the place that like have no support from their upline, or they're here one minute and they're gone the next, or maybe they're lucky and maybe they have a rock star for an upline. But everybody has different uplines. And so there is no way to get around that. It's a mixture. So that's why we put together the new ambassador training page and the video training page and these other things for you, the verbiage page, because we want you to be supported as best you can. And you know what an upline should be here for? They should be here for, obviously, I hope and pray that you have a relationship with them, a friendship with them. I hope they're doing that. I feel that's the responsibility of an upline. So that can be, to you too, you being the upline of somebody, be that friendship, have that relationship, keep that contact, check in with them, encourage them, motivate them, do all that. But if your upline isn't doing that, then, you can go to the next nearest upline that is working this business and that can provide you that. I suggest that you do. When Aaron and Amber started, they had to go a couple people up to Stephanie Murray, who was the next most serious ambassador working, saying, hey, how do we do this? What do we do? So that that's all, information to kind of digest. But the other aspect, and then we're going to conclude, the other aspect to that is if you are in a line of ambassadors that are trying to do this business. So let's say my level 4 again. Let's say my level 4 is like, yeah, I want to run. Let's do this. And then we've got like all these people in between us that are like trying to do the business, like treading water, trying to learn. And that level 4 always comes to me, and I'm not saying about this any person in particular, I just kind of randomly thought of a number, but that level 4 just comes to me. Then all those people, and then it's just a one-way conversation between me and that level 4, then all those people in between are missing out on the opportunity to learn and or train or be there for that person. So what I want to recommend is, if you have an upline that is not, maybe they're brand new, maybe they haven't been here for very long, maybe they're not as knowledgeable as somebody else, your goal is to go and ask them first, because I mean, even Erin, she had been here longer than me, but there was still things that she was learning. But because I would come and ask her, then she would go get the answer, and she would then learn it herself. So, but worst case scenario, and this is going to be so different and unique for every person, but worst case scenario, you can put a message chat together from yourself and your uplines up to your nearest ambassador that is the most, knowledgeable or whatever. And then that way you can start a chat with everybody on up and ask the question. And then guess what? Then everybody gets to learn. Because if your upline doesn't know and that next upline doesn't know, then the person that does know far enough up is going to be able to address the question in the group for everybody. And our goal is for everybody to learn what they need to know, not just, just people here and there, because we want we want everybody, uplines and downlines and everybody to learn and know everything. And we want to give them, we don't want to rob them of the opportunity to be able to be that coach or that support to you, so don't make sure to give them a chance, at answering your question. And they're on up. And then if, you can't seem to get the answer, then throw that message chat together and, get your questions answered. And then that way, all of your upline can be in on supporting you, and they can learn whatever they didn't know before. Okay. Any questions before we conclude? Are we good?
That was very helpful information. Thanks, ladies, for doing this tonight.
You are so welcome. Thanks for being on, Gail, despite how late it is.
Oh, no problem.
All right, Rachel, any last thoughts? Kathy, Nancy, Alicia?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, we will call it a night. And we'll post this recording once I get it uploaded, probably tonight or in the morning. Thanks for being on, guys. I'm proud of you guys. I know it was a late night, but I'm glad you were here. We will talk to you soon.